All right, here on another Wednesday at Cap City Co-working for 1 Million Cups. I'm here with, what's your name? Introduce yourself.
Walter Guathny, and I'm here pitching for Calypso Therapeutics.
All right, Walter. Well, I like the brand and the presentation. It was well made. It was nice and clean. The brand itself, I like the the word Calypso is a good word, and therapeutics is another buzzword, and both of those together really make sense to me. So is it a product or a service?
It would be a product. Basically, it's a technology platform using liposomes. So an easy way to remember the Calypso, CA could be California, and Lipso could be liposome. So we make liposome drug products, and so to some degree, that's where the Calypso name, even though that's a Greek myth, it came from. And so the idea is we're going to reformulate drugs that are currently available into safer, more efficacious medicines using this technology.
All right, so the wordplay on Calypso is something that's there. You said like the Greek mythology of Calypso and liposines, was it?
Liposome.
Liposome, what is that?
Basically, lipids are fats. So if you want to think of a soap bubble, it's kind of like that, but instead of having an air pocket in the middle, there's a water pocket in the middle surrounded by a bilayer of fat, so that it's a green is a natural product. It's basically your body has fats in it, so you're just encapsulating the drug of choice inside this so that you can deliver it as a depot for slow release. And it's all stuff that's easily metabolized by the body, so it's not some kind of man-made gel or polymer. It's basically naturally occurring materials that allows the drug to be long duration.
All right, that's awesome. That sounds good, man. In regards to putting something together, you said it was for the opioid crisis.
And the first product is going to try to address pain management and the opioid crisis by trying to mitigate the use of opioids, especially post-procedural or post-surgical, if you're easier to do with inpatients. So that way you don't have to try to mitigate their pain using an opioid.
Is there any specific opioid that's there? Because I've heard that term before. I know there may be like different variations or different brands. Is there anything? What is the doctors currently using for post-surgery?
Well, it's a mix, and it just a little clarification. Opioids is obviously a derivative of opium. So when you're talking opium, heroin, or even morphine for that matter, those are opium because they're natural products. When you talk about opioids, you immediately should be thinking like Oxycontin and that like. So opioids are man-made synthesizers, not necessarily naturally occurring compounds. They're man-made compounds to be more efficacious to the pain target, which then also could lead to a greater addiction profile, because if you're relieving pain at a greater extent and people want to relieve pain, then it kind of leads into itself. So, but opioids are technically synthetic compounds. They're not naturally occurring.
All right, so you said it was water-based. You want to create something that's water-based?
Well, like the current products for this one is basically a solution in water. My product would also be basically an aqueous suspension, but it would include these lipid micelles that would be dispersed within the water, and the drug itself would be captured in the little water pore inside the lipid bilayer.
Okay, so would it be as simple as mixing pure opium with water, and
you can think of like some of the current opioids. Basically, they are water soluble because they're probably salts, just like adding salt to your soup or something, and that's done so that it gets into your body, because you can't put a solid mass into it. You have to have it some way to be dissolved up.
Like pills.
Right, yeah, because if you take a pill, even if it's a chewable, when it gets into your stomach, it's going to dissolve into the liquid inside your stomach. So everything eventually has to become in solution. So some of for the current market for the product, for what I'm making, it comes as an injectable. It's already in a water solution, and they just inject you with it. My product would also come with a similar thing, and it would be an injection. The difference is, since theirs is in water, it just goes right into your system. Since mine is encapsulated, it'll form this little depot, and then as the lipids open, then it just slow releases into your system.
Okay. With pharmaceuticals and all those kind of things from the laboratory, if you were to have the laboratory and the equipment and the ability to kind of experiment, how would that process be capsulated?
Basically, it's done every day across the around the world. Scientists go in, they're creating either new synthetic products or extracting things from natural products, and they're trying to make it in a form that's easy to get into you in a controlled manner. And so with the facilities, I would be doing the same thing.
Okay, you mentioned TLC, and is that what they're doing from a laboratory scientist production?
Same thing. They also a liposome company. They have their own products. They're basically putting drugs into these lipids and creating medicines that are a longer duration that fit a specific need.
Is there any competition in this space? Is there any similar products that TLC or anybody else offers?
But in a sense, because no matter what you're dealing with, someone's going to have an alternate to it. So it doesn't even have to be a direct competitor, as in a substitute, but it could be something that's tangential. That if I see, because if you think about, even pain drugs, I mean, one of the things people can do is like nerve blocks.
There's Advil, ibuprofen, nerve blocks, all those.
So I mean, you can think of a drug aspect, but there's also mechanical aspects that physicians can employ. So it's a mix of what's out there and how that market gets, the major markets, say pain management, how does it get subdivided into different procedures and drug availability. So some of it's just the end users and what they want to use.
All right. I mean, that's like, and in regards to a prototyping some type of sample products, how far are you along from getting some sample products?
We've made some. We've already put it into some early stage models. So now we're just looking for the preclinical models and then first in man aspect. So we are up to the point where we're ready to put the studies together for the regulatory pathways to get it approved.
All right, cool. Not saying I want to be the guinea pig in there, but right. I'm trying opium, alternatives and things like that in regards to research. On the production side of things, now Calypso Theropeutics is its own entity, right? And that you're the CEO of,
right?
Or eventually that's the
plan.
The plan, right? Is there, if worst case scenario is what would be in regards to production?
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess my perspective, the worst case is just opportunity never gets to the market, so that patients don't get the opportunity to have that option. To me, that would be the worst case scenario. Somehow or another, this gets derailed and never comes to light.
All right, it gets derailed and never comes into fruition, where Rite Aid, other pharmaceutical things pick up the product. And is it going to be something that's over the counter?
No,
or
it would
on the shelf?
It would all be prescription. Basically, it would be your physicians or hospitals would make use of this. It wouldn't be something that you would go pick up at Walmart or Rite Aid and take home with you.
Interesting. Okay. Pain management. I know a person, client, company, startup that does some pain management around just PT, physical therapy, massage therapy, pain management, working out, rehabilitation type of things. More so of a service
Right.
instead of the product of what pharmaceutical does and diagnosis, relieving pain and things like that. Have you considered any kind of service, Calypso Theropeutics service that is just in case there's no product?
Well, the way we see it, in a sense, no. I mean, we basically are pharmaceutical product driven. But going to your question with like physical therapy, the agent that we're looking to create, in a sense, would dovetail with that. Basically, you would go through your procedures. You would use our product to get you past that window. And then if there's any long-term pain, it would not necessarily be associated with the procedure itself. Then you would turn to your PTs and your other as for anything that's even longer duration than what would be expected on a post after having a procedure.
All right, man. I mean, with the going to the doctor as a prescribed thing, man, that's something that me as a consumer, there's of course probably regulations. You said FDA's is there involved. What's the process like of getting it back behind diagnosed doctors instead of over the counter?
Well, basically all drugs have to go through kind of the same process. It's about a 10-year process.
You said 10 year?
10 year. The average,
10 year.
The average drug takes at least 10 to 13 years to come to market. The over-the-counter part is basically where the regulatory body thinks that people are able to use this in a safe manner. So you could think of...
if it's water soluble, would you be able to make the strength of it increase? Are you able to control the strength of it?
Well, you would have to control the strength.
Although it's water-based?
You would have to control the strength in the drug product itself. So whatever you say the strength is, you have to basically reliably make in every vial. So in essence, yes, the product is reliable and robust in its manufacture, but when you go for approval, you have to dictate the strength, and just like going to pump gas in your car, it has to be that octane that you're buying. Your drug has to be what you told the FDA it is, so that every vial is what it says it is.
Right, okay. So the power there, the regulations there, the strength of it's there. It's all kind of there within that 10-year window. You can easily present that, acquire that. TLC's involved and stuff, There's really nothing that we could do as a consumer. It's all really you dealing with the government.
Well, what it'll end up being is your advocate will be your hospital and your doctor. They're going to, if you go in for a procedure, they're going to use their medicines, their procedures to do the surgery. So for you, in relation to me, it will be up to your physicians, your hospital administrators to decide that my product will be the product that will be best for you for your situation.
All right. So, in kind of conclusion here, how was your 1 Million Cup Sacramento experience, and what are you going to take from this, and what's next for you?
Well, even though 1 Million Cups isn't a pitch, obviously, I need to get the funding in to get this down the road, and so that's where we are right now. The short term is trying to get the Calypso funding. As far as the 1 Million Cups, I thought it was a great opportunity to mingle with the local entrepreneurs, see what's available in this space, because I think I grew up in flyover space, so I think it's important to try to, bring some of the industry, the opportunity out of its hubs and out into flyover space to give me. If you think of the opioid crisis in, say, Appalachia or this area, part of the problem is pharmaceutical companies are in New Jersey and San Francisco and Boston. What if you could get a job in Kentucky making drugs so that you're not, watching the coal mines collapse and you have no future?
So being from California and having something in California.
Right. So, like we're in Sacramento, it'd be a little cheaper, and there should be opportunity here. So why does it have to be in South San Francisco or Palo Alto? Why not build companies here? So, trying to get an idea of what the infrastructure and meet the people here and see what I can do to help, basically move innovation out of its protected little hubs and throughout the nation. So that's a goal that I have personally.
All right, my best advice to acquire the funding for like any kind of pharmaceuticals is probably FDA, government things, in the medical field, like specifically focus on the medical field, medical grants, medical funding, and go from there, man. That's all I can really say. So, like, subscribe. Thank you once again for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Victor, for asking me to do this.
All right. Until next time.